Good morning, everybody. I hope your evening went well. It was another cool one here on the southern central plains. In the high 60s. Supposed to be more of the same today, then the warm-up begins tomorrow with the moisture pump from the Gulf too. And this is the time of year, if you're into row crops, which most of the Midwest is, that you count on building your moisture reserves. The wheat crop is made. We need one rain in early June. And it's done. Of course, it looks short right now, but it is growing, and that's got all the right coloration. And our harvest will be bigger. I think just the early reports right now, the expectations are for the hard red winter wheat crop to be up, depending on the state and your production region, 10 to 20%, with the overall production from last year up about 16%. Now, these are swags, and it takes a couple more rains to ensure those kind of numbers, but that's what we're up against. Today is a big news day. We've got retail sales plus 0.2. Ex-auto plus 0.5. That will be the market's focus right here. Ex-food and gasoline plus 0.4. No one trades that number. Import prices up 0.4. The hope is for inflation to return in every economy and then prop up real estate and make people feel wealthy so they spend money again. Export prices up 1%, 0.1%. Business inventories up 0.2. And crude plus 0.1 or 100,000 barrels. That's a pretty sharp pencil, in my opinion. So the focus is going to be retail sales plus 0.5%. Now, if our economy is 70% based on retail sales, consumer spending, they want to see these numbers returning. It might be a little early for this big a number, but right now we know the automobile sector for the 5th month has experienced declining unit sales. So will this money be put into furniture, hard dollar, consumer durables, something like that, or will it go to pay down debt? And my guess is that people are paying down debt, so I think there's going to be disappointment in these numbers. The problem we face right now as traders is we know the books are cooked, we know the numbers are cooked, we know that they need a particular number to keep the political meme going about the economy, and so these numbers are always a little bit suspect. So we'll just have to see what they are. But the focus will be retail sales up 0.5%. Okay, the bond market is so oversold. I think we have a good chance for all three of these auctions to come at higher prices. From an interest rate standpoint, these securities represent a pretty big bargain. Now, if there is going to be a weak auction, it'll be today's. So the 10 years is often used to set up the 30-year. We have the single print right here at 13.5. That is, single prints are significant. They are resistance. We have steadily lower prices. We have a Y high. We have a A high. We have a CB high. We've got a 2-letter ledge right there. We've got a D high. We've got this E high. So we've got resistance starting at 13, so 12 to 16 is first sell, and then 19 to 23 will be second sell, and the best resistance is 24 to 28. Well, that wasn't supposed to be a 3. Tough when you can't see what you're writing. I knew what I wanted to say. 28. On the support side, we have this breakout from 6.7. We're at 9.5 right now. We've got this value area low out of London at 5, and the 10-year auction can be a little weak, so 1 to 5, buy 1. May take a 9 to get in. A lot of it's going to depend on this news that comes out. So we find ourselves in a newsday trading situation, and then 25 to 29 will be buy 2. So retail sales, ex automobiles, up 0.5%. That's the market's focus. Okay, we had a 3-point rally in the 30-year yesterday. That is it's a market that just, if you're not familiar with it and you like to trade fundamentals, it's your market. It has produced so much more money than the E-mini over the last month and a half with these 1 to 2 point swings that, I mean, you just really can't ignore it. Now, I know everybody's out there saying, oh, you know, financials, 8s, I don't want to have to work 64ths in 30 seconds. I mean, who in the hell can do that in your head? But the opportunity is there. I mean, just look at this spill that we had today on Friday. So it's just a big market, and the expansion of the knob spread, which went on yesterday and in the overnight session, gives us a shot at 1 to 2 points every day when we come into this. So you can see all these single prints, 155 even. That's a pretty darn round number if you think about it. And then we have the single print right here at 15. So the 16 all the way up to the buck is where resistance is. So 15 to 19, it's where resistance is right now, is sell 1. It is a newsday trade. Then we're going to open up 27 to 31 for sell 2. And I think that's the better trade because of the spill right there. On the buy side, we're at 12. It's a big market. We'll adjust these after the news. 1 to 5, buy 1. And then bottom of value is 25. We'll make it 21 to 25 for buy 2, but that probably is out of reach. Gets down to what the news is going to be. Finch sent me a paper on a study that was done by some technical analysis group about how the breakout is the worst trade to trade, and it is the worst trade to trade. There is no doubt about that. And the problem that we all face as traders is that every now and then we miss a pretty big move. The market just does not come back. So 2 out of 3 breakout trades fail, and we'll talk about that today after 10 o'clock. Probably do a little bit on that. Looking at gold, what we push or talk about on breakout trades is that first move out of the current trading range. We know they're going for stops, and that may be it. But that second move, where they take out that first move's high or low, is the trade that you have to be in. That one's pretty reliable, and that's the one that we like to take, and that's the one that we have to learn to take. Okay, gold notching higher. The EU admitted overnight that they're working on a contingency plan for Greece to leave the euro. So we'll see if that actually happens. Market is pointed higher. It is trying to trade higher. 1200 is a pretty round number, so our first sell is going to be 1200 plus or minus, and then 5 to 7 for sell 2. On the buy side, support is at 90, so 90.92 buy 1. and 85.87. Now this market will react to the retail sales news. If it comes in at 0.5% ex-hours, it should sell. So we got an opportunity to buy. But underneath the surface is what's going on with Greece. This seems like a pretty small fee. If Greece can find a way to cut $3.4 billion from their budget, they'll get the money they need. I mean, our government does not even blink at dropping $1 billion here, $5 billion there, $10 billion there. I mean, it's just, but their economy, of course, is much smaller than ours. So this is what it hinges on right now, whether Greece gets their money or not. And my guess is on paper they'll probably find $3.4 billion to cut. The economic news out of the EU overnight was mixed. Italian and French industrial production were up as a whole. The European GDP was below forecast. Bank of England cuts its growth forecast. China's industrial production was well below the forecast. Their fixed asset investment was down. So the numbers, generally speaking, in the broadest sense, were negative. And there were Italy and Spain's GDP were forecast higher. Our problem, once again, is can you believe or trust the numbers? And from a fundamentalist standpoint, it's a real problem. But for us, because we don't have to know who, why are doing the buying or selling, we just can see that they are, and we join them. So we have a lot more flexibility as traders than these long-term investors do. The long-term investors are bounded or kept in check or intact by their investment policies, and they have to buy no matter whether they like it or not. And over the long haul, the markets usually bail them out. Okay, S1 on crude, 61.50, 75, 62, 62 and a quarter for S2. I saw no news on what's going on in Yemen or the Middle East or the Camp David talks that are coming this week, but the current situation in the Middle East, because of Iran's building of their areas of influence, is pretty dicey. And like I said, you would almost be able to bet with 100% certainty that the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia have already cut a deal for missiles and nukes from Pakistan. I know if I were in their shoes, I would be trying to do that. I know that if I were in their shoes, I would not trust anything that our government told them that they were going to do in their behalf. That's a sad state of affairs, if you think about it. And I put a comment up into the room that, and unfortunately, Putin could make those claims with a lot of countries to point to. He says, everything the United States touches gives us a Libya, and I forget the other country, probably Iraq. And he's not too far off the track. And the reason is we don't bring anything to conclusion anymore. So we, as a country right now, as a leader, the ex-leader of the free world, don't have a lot of credibility with our allies. Okay, value area high is 55. London came in at 65. We're currently at 34, so 50 to 60 will be sell one. If we get through 60, we're probably going back up to the buck, so then we'll make 1290, 1300 sell two. On the buy side, we're buying against the buck, so 12, 1210 buy one. And buy two will be 75. And to the E-mini. The E-mini's up overnight The forecast for retail sales is friendly for the E-mini. If they catch that number or get a 0.5% growth, X autos, I imagine the E-mini will continue to move higher, but will react to that news negatively. Good news is bad news. Bad news is good news for the E-mini. So the E-mini market is playing for a retail sales number. Must be in Arab, right, if I write like that. Retail sales plus 0.2, X auto plus 0.5. That is the focus. Import prices plus 0.4. Export prices plus 0.1. You'd like to have that going the other way. Business inventories plus 0.2. No one will trade that number. Crude plus 100,000 barrels. So right there, that's a whole shooting match. And if it comes in at that number, we're likely to see some selling. So we're in a newsday trading situation. So first resistance is 4 to 6. That's where it is. We usually get stops above that number. And then 9 to 11 will be sell 2. On the buy side, 95, 97. And then 90, 92 for buy 2. And we're really down to the news, so we'll have to adjust this post the news. Okay, it'll take about 20 minutes to get everything up and running and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I'll be back as soon as possible.